Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner, where the daily technical update is Tuesday the 13th of May. And in this education video, there is no advice or recommendation whatsoever intended. We'll start with the Meta platforms, or Facebook is formerly known, that yesterday closed in the region around the resistance here at 638, 642. But as we can see here, that the RSI is pointing to higher level. It actually was already in positive sentiment, confirming further that we can remove this one. And we could see Meta pushing higher in the coming days and weeks. However, moving on to the US markets, they were quite strong yesterday. We have S&P 500. S&P 500 up 3.25%. Very strong move towards the next resistance areas. 5,859 likely to be tested shortly. We are above the cloud. We are above all moving averages. They are starting to turn around. Positive sentiment on the RSI here, also now on the S&P 500. Here pre-market though, we are down a little bit. I think we could be hit by a little bit of profit taking later today maybe, but the trend is up for now. So for now it seems to be fairly positive, I would say. To say the least, we had Nasdaq yesterday closing up a little bit more than 4%. Up here in no man's land, so to speak, and there is potential towards a previous peak. So it's been one hell of a ride, and hope you all survived. If we slide back and close below to 20,290, then we have a different situation, but it doesn't seem like it at the moment, at least. Here pre-market we're down about 0.5%. So let's see, maybe a little bit of a setback before the next push higher. Dow Jones 2.8 higher, just below the minor resistance here. And we are above the 200 moving average. We are above the 100 moving average. The 200 is rising. So let's see, also a little bit setback there. So expect a little bit of correction, but bullish mood ahead, it seems. In Asia, it was also the day after. We had yesterday where we saw the Hang Seng index touching the 786 retracement at 23,673. Today we are closing down about 1.6%. It's around this level here, and we could see a little bit of setback, maybe down to maybe a little bit below 23,000. But we are in a bullish trend, so we should push higher. So if it takes out the peak there from yesterday, then expect a further bullish move. In Europe, EUROSTOXX 50, very strong day yesterday, closed above the cloud. RSI above the 60 threshold is set for further upside. However, here pre-market we are a little bit lower, but still bullish sentiment, positive sentiment and bullish trend, and we could in the coming weeks see a push towards at least the previous all-time highs. Let me just push on to the DAX index. It started out well, but then it faded throughout the session. I mean, it closed with a little bit of a plus and also a new all-time high close, but it faded quite a bit towards the end of the session, and it's also opening a little bit lower. Here we have the CFD that actually formed a doji yesterday. So if we get a negative candle today on the DAX, we could see a top and reversal in place, and then we could be hit by a correction. It has been one hell of a ride, and just to measure it from the bottom to the top, we can see that, well, we went, it was 28-30% in a very short time, which is quite unusual, but it was also unusual times. Euro dollar, well, the sell-off yesterday, let me just adjust this a little bit, took it down almost, within a few pips from 110.55 to 61.8 retracement right here. It is a little. It's still under pressure. RSI bounced from the 40 threshold for now. So maybe we should have a bounce that was try to crawl back above 112. But for now, short term, we are in a correction phase or in a bearish trend, very short term. We have the 55 moving average coming up here, adding some support. So I think maybe we could get a little bit dip lower, but then I think we will see a bounce here over the next day or so. Cable, sterling dollar, dipped just below the 38.2 retracement and then bounce. If it takes out the lows from yesterday, then expect a sell-off down. Could take it all the way down to 113 below the 55 moving average, and then I think we'll see a bounce. If it starts crawling back about 133, then we could see the cable or sterling dollar to resume uptrend. We had the euro sterling touching spot on the 786 retracement at 84 and a bit, just above the 100 moving average. RSI negative sentiment, so it could actually drop lower. If it takes it out, well, then I think we could see it sliding even lower towards 83 and these levels here. But there is some strong support with the 100 there and the 200, despite it declining a little bit, but 100 moving average giving some support here. So I would actually expect a bounce at least up to 84.50, 84.60 level. Dollar yen hit spot on the resistance, just a few pips below the 786 retracement at 148.79, and then retraced. If it takes out this level here, then I think this resistance level here, then I think we'll see a push up to 151.25, where we can see the stronger resistance. But we also have the 200 and the 100 moving average up there, adding a little bit to the resistance. The RSI closed above 60 threshold, indicating positive sentiment, suggesting that we could push higher. But let's see. I think we could see a little bit of a setback, possibly down to around the 55 moving average and the 146.50 area. Euro yen, now it got almost up to 164. I think it will increase more. It will rise more here in the coming days. I think it will take out 165 and push towards 166, 166 and a half. Positive sentiment on the rise. Minor divergence there, but let's see. All moving average now rising. We have the 55 breaking above both the 100 and the 200, and they are both rising. So we have a gold cross there. We have the Aussie yen pushing higher above the 100 moving average. Positive sentiment on the RSI. So it seems to following through. I think we could see a push up to 95.75, this peak here, and possibly higher. There should be potential up to a 97.30 area. The 200 moving average will act a little bit of as a resistance though, but for now it seems fairly strong. However, if we slide back below 93.14, 93, then this bullish picture could be demolished. Sterling yen, very close to 195, 98 to 196. Positive sentiment on the RSI. If it takes out that spike up there, which is not unlikely, well, then there is a potential higher towards 198. What you can also do, you see we had this correction here, so we can add a Fibonacci projection, and then we are actually almost up to 161.8, and I think we could see a push up to 197. Aussie dollar, well, still dancing sideways, really, staying above 63.40. So not much to say other than there is positive sentiment, so we should see it crawling higher towards 65.5 fairly soon. But it's not a given, and it could still dip below the minor support here. But we have the 100 and the 55 moving average coming up here, adding to the support, and the RSI is still positive. So the dollar Canada touched, as we have spoken about the past few days, that it was likely to touch the 200 moving average and the 140, and it did yesterday. Expect a little bit of a setback. RSI is still negative, could turn around if it takes out the lows from yesterday at 138.90. Then a downtrend could resume. Sterling Canada still in this range here between 183 and 186. So not much to say there really. Swiss francs, we had your Swiss yesterday spiking a little bit above the 61.8 retracement and resistance here just around 93.90, but failed. So it's still range bound down to 92.98, 92. 95, always subtract a little bit. If it takes out that, well, then expect to push down to 92.20. So let's see if it is having another go, moving above yesterday's peak. I think we'll see a push up to 94.15, possibly up to 94.50. Dollar Swiss reached the 50%, quite unusual, but it did 50% of this sell-off here at 84.47. A little bit of a setback. RSI rejected at the 60 threshold. So we are in a bullish trend, but it needs confirmation that it can keep going further up to the 61.8 retracement at 85.40-45 area. So keep an eye on that. I think if it takes out the peak from yesterday at 84.76, then I think we'll push up there. The dollar index moved up to touch the 61.8 retracement at 101.80. I think maybe 1 or 2 pips from it. No, 101.82 actually. So it did touch it and then got rejected. And I think we will see a little bit of a setback here. However, if it takes it out, takes out the peak from yesterday, then we could see a push up to the 786 at 102.92. Gold almost down to 3,200, and the lows here from the 1st of May, and then it has bounced still. If it takes out 3,200, then I think we'll see a further selling down towards 3,100 and testing this upper rising trend line and the 55 moving average. But let's see if it can bounce from here. So if it starts bouncing, what I will do, I will play with my Fibonacci's just to see, you know, we can see a little bit of a bounce there, maybe up to the 61.8 retracement at 33.48. So let's see about that. But to really resume uptrend, it needs to take out this peak here at 3,435. We have silver. Well, still in this range here between 31.65 and 33.70. I always subtract a little bit and add a little bit just to make sure. So in this range here, a bit volatile, so but no clear direction. Copper, same picture really. 450, it dipped a little bit below here the other day. Or last week, 480.70. If it takes out that, then I think we'll see a push up towards 500. Otherwise, if it takes out the lows there at 447.80, then we could see it down to 438, possibly lower. But for now, expect it to be range bound between those levels. Crude oil, WTI, spiked higher yesterday above the 786 retracement and then collapsed, and now it seems to have range bound a little between 61.8 retracement and 786. However, if it slides back below, then we could see downtrend resuming. So let's keep an eye on that. So what I will do also here, we could there will probably a bit of a profit taking. So we could see it sliding down to 60 spot 40, maybe 58.46. However, if it takes out the peak from yesterday, expect the peak up here in resistance around 65 and a quarter to be tested. The Brent crude oil touched almost within a few cents at the 786 retracement at 66.48, and then it slide back. So the bounce seems to be losing some steam, and we could see it setting back a little bit. The Eurogas, Dutch TTF gas, let's just zoom in here. Tried again yesterday to push above the resistance, but got knocked down. It did spike above, so let's see if it can actually take it out. I think if it takes out yesterday's peak, then we will see a push. Then I think there are some stops in this region here just below 36 euros. And finally, US nat gas. Well, it is still hovering around a bit of volatility around the 61.8 retracement and being rejected here at the 55 moving average, and could slide back. But if it takes out the there is still potential up to test the lower part of cloud and the 786 retracement just below $4, but negative sentiment on the RSI is still there, and it is holding it down. Treasury yields, US Treasury, 10-year Treasury yields broke above and closed above the 443 resistance yesterday. RSI closed above the 60 threshold. So we are now in a short-term bullish move or trend. Could it take up to 455, possibly up to 465 in the coming weeks. A little bit of setback should be expected before I think we'll see the next push higher. We have the 2-year, well, also higher, still below 395, and still have some overhead resistance there. Still negative sentiment. Let's see if it moves above 395, then RSI will also close above 60 threshold. So there is some movement in the Treasury yields market. We have here the Euro 10-year. Strong move yesterday above the 786 retracement of this downtrend there. So I think we could see it pushing higher, possibly up towards the 271 that spike there, and possibly also out to the 61.8 retracement at 275 of the entire downtrend here. So keep an eye on those levels. The UK 10 above 61.8 retracement at 465. I think we'll see a push up to 786 retracement at 472. And then finally on crypto, we have Bitcoin setting back a bit. Still a bullish trend, but it's set back to the 38.2 retracement, just above 100,000, and then bounce. I think we will see it pushing higher if it takes out the spike up there at 105,788. Expect a push to test previous all-time highs. Ethereum also pausing a little bit around the 38.2 retracement of the entire downtrend. I still think we'll see a push up towards 3,000, maybe a little bit higher here. So that's all for today. Have a nice day, and keep charting, and be careful out there. Thank you.